What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Digital Art with Jesus Conde, and today we're going to be working on this painting. I call this painting Lady Owl. I don't know why it reminded me of a movie called Lady Hawk, and I just wanted to try to copy the idea of the title or something, and I thought it was cool. Anyway, the first step that we have to do is the sketch, which is one of the most important. Here's where you try things. You try to be brave with your ideas and try to do stuff that normally you wouldn't do or something like that. So I tried sketching some clothing that didn't really end up being on the painting, but yeah, that's the sketching part. And then applying a basic layer of color will help you tons. If you're like just starting with the painting, you don't know what steps to do first or something like that. I just start with doing a little bit of color to start things. If I'm really early, I get really nervous about the painting. Like, what am I going to do? Am I going to be able to finish this painting and look very well? But if I continue working on it all the time, it will end up looking good. Maybe not the exact way that I thought it will look. Sometimes it looks way better. And it's a really cool thing when you finish a painting. It looks way cooler than you thought it will be. Here I'm trying to copy the material of the clothing, but there's something that's kind of difficult to achieve. So it's just applying a few colors here and there. At some point, I decided that I wasn't going to do just a girl painting. This painting was kind of like a process. It wasn't really, I didn't have the idea of painting the girl with the birds at the beginning, so it was kind of like a transition. Here I was just trying to make a painting of a girl, just to see if I could achieve this level of painterly kind of a result, and then I decided to add the birds later. So here I'm adding one of the owls, which was really fun to do and a little bit challenging, I have to say. It's not I'm really out of my comfort zone trying to paint things with reference like this, like almost like copy. I say almost because it doesn't look exactly the same. Some stuff that I change it either on color or shape just a tiny bit, even by mistake. Some things doesn't look really the same because of mistakes that I made. And at the same time, here I'm trying to test a little bit of composition because I have the two birds on the frame. So I'm trying to put them on places that I think will look great in terms of the balance, like how much weight there is in either of sides. So that's what I was trying to do there. And well, the painting with the reference was really something that I wasn't really used to do. I used to use reference mostly for like shape and things like that, not for painting directly. I used to use reference just to like as a research. If I wanted to paint something or do something, I just look for reference and try to do something similar, but not the exact same thing. And this workflow really changed a lot of my way of working lately. There you can see I kind of tried a couple of level adjustments just to see what looks good. And at the end I kind of use them, but it's not big deal really. So adding some of the colors on the owl, I noticed that I had a lot of mistakes on the proportions. Some of the stuff doesn't really look the same. Like the head is a little bit like it's looking weird. Like it's not looking to the same place, and the legs are not up enough. Are more down. The body is a little bit longer, and things like that I have to change later. In the case of this guy, I had to kind of put a lot of dark areas on the back because the owl was white and it really disappeared on the color of the background. So I have to make that shadow. And then I got this idea of making the light coming down from one of the sides. So that was a cool thing. And then I started adding like shadows of maybe some stuff that is out of frame. So you won't be able to see it, but you will be able to see the shadow of them. Whatever that was. Maybe other birds. And yeah, I think it kind of at this point when I was doing this one, I was grabbing the reference type of working a little bit better. The owls looks better. This one is still not exactly the same, but better than the first one in my opinion. And then I was struggling a bit with the lighting, because I had this lighting on the face of the girl, and then the owls really didn't match the lighting of the girl. It was a completely different thing. So this light that is coming from the sides could be something that is coming from the side up, from the right up, and then there's something blocking out the light to the girl. So it's not such a big deal if the wall is lit that way, but the girl doesn't. And then she has like another kind of light source coming from the left and front of her, so that's why she get that lighting on the face. So yeah, it's a bit weird to imagine, I know, but that's the way I was trying to plan things out in my mind when I was doing it. Or maybe looking for an excuse of all this painting making sense. Then I tried to look for reference for the clothing, because I didn't like the wrinkles that I got on the clothing, so I started making a new cloth on the girl, and tried to find reference for shape, and tried to find reference for how it looks with the skin under. And the one that kind of I end up liking was this one, and I kind of took the direction of making it more like like a sleeves, and like it wasn't kind of like a long shirt or something like that, and you could see a little bit of those sleeves there, or at least something that looks kind of like it. Because this idea that I had before with like a long semi-transparent cloak was not good enough for me, I think. Then I decided that side was looking pretty empty, so I add another owl just out of frame, like just really passing by to another side. And then after that I got the idea of maybe if this was going to be this way, I should put some feathers on the air or something like that, like really just floating in the air, because it's like there's like a lot of movement when birds are flying and moving their wings. So I should add a little bit of some feathers here and there floating in the air or something. This one, that reference of the bird, I actually changed the color a bit. I made it darker because I wanted to have more weight on that part of the painting. And you can see how slowly I'm trying to add a little bit of more of volume, like some shadows of everything here and there. Also that making everything more dark, and then erasing on the girl, kind of make you focus on the girl more than everything else. That's a small trick. And here I wanted to make some kind of a more 3D kind of feeling of the scene. So the only way to do that for me in 2D is to add stuff that is like in front of the subject, in this case the girl, and then adding shadows to it, so you can kind of measure a distance between the things that is floating and the things and how the things react to her shape. So in this case it's just something floating in the air, and the feathers casting shadows on her. That really gives a nice touch, I think. At this point I'm basically just making a lot of details here and there, nothing too fancy, because I don't want to be like hyper realistic, but I want to get this feeling of very elegant kind of painting. So Yeah, that's me putting my signature there, so I'm not totally sure yet, but yeah, that's basically it. So thank you very much guys for watching this video. If you have any suggestions at all about what should I paint next, just let me know in the comment section. Give me a thumbs up if you liked the video, and please share it with your friends or your Facebook or whatever. And yeah, talk to you later.